This is Radio Taiwan International.
Welcome to the news on Radio Taiwan International. I'm Eloise Phillips, coming to you from Taipei, Taiwan. We begin with a look at today's top stories for Monday, February 9th. Taiwan congratulates Thailand's PM on election win. The Mainland Affairs Council condemns Jimmy Lai's 20-year sentence as Chinese political persecution. And Japan's snap election victory likely to encourage LDP party to bolder action, says analyst. But first, today's top story. Foreign Minister Lin Jialong extended his sincere congratulations on Monday to Prime Minister Anutin Charnvirakul, who claimed victory in Thailand's general election on Sunday, February 8th. The Foreign Ministry pointed out that Taiwan and Thailand have long enjoyed close cooperation and, under the framework of the new southbound policy, the two sides continue to deepen bilateral cooperation, increase people-to-people exchanges and achieve fruitful results. Running on patriotic sentiment after the two border wars with Cambodia in 2025, Anutin's Bumjai Thai party won over conservatives, promising to defend traditional Thai institutions like the monarchy and military. According to preliminary statistics from Thai media, the party won nearly 200 seats, securing a significant advantage. Before the election, Rachada Dandirek, a senior member of the Bumjai Thai party, responsible for foreign affairs, told the media that if the party remained in power, it would maintain friendly relations with Taiwan, especially in the economic and technological fields. When asked about its stance on cross-strait issues, she said, quote, Thailand hopes for peace, end quote. The Foreign Ministry stated that Taiwan hopes to build on the existing good relationship with Thailand and continue to uphold the principles of pragmatic and mutually beneficial comprehensive diplomacy. It said it will further substantive cooperation with the new Thai government and parliament to jointly promote regional peace, stability and prosperity. The vote counting process for the Thai general election is still underway, with official results to be released no later than April 9th. A Hong Kong court on Monday sentenced media tycoon Jimmy Lai to 20 years in prison in his national security trial, prompting Taiwan's Mainland Affairs Council, or MAC, to issue a statement strongly condemning the CCP and Hong Kong government for suppressing freedoms and human rights under the guise of national security. The MAC demanded an immediate halt to the political persecution and the unconditional release of Lai. The case further confirms that under the CCP's so-called, quote, one country, two systems, end quote, the freedoms promised to Hong Kong people by the basic law are rendered meaningless, with the judiciary reduced to a political tool for suppression and elimination of dissent. The MAC noted that by charging Lai with collusion with foreign and external forces to endanger national security, the CCP and Hong Kong authorities are incorporating media influence and international connections into the scope of national security measures, aiming to create a cross-domain, cross-border chilling effect. This is neither a special incident nor an isolated case in Hong Kong, but a warning signal of the CCP extending authoritarianism beyond its borders. The MAC reminded Taiwanese people to learn from Hong Kong's experience and safeguard their hard-won freedom, calling on the international community to heighten awareness of the CCP's erosion of freedoms and human rights, joining Taiwan on the front line of freedom and democracy. Radio Taiwan International held a symposium on Monday discussing the changes and future trends in Japanese politics following Japanese Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi's landslide victory in Sunday's snap election. Speaking at the event, Indo-Pacific strategy think tank CEO Akio Yaita said Takaichi's victory at the polls will allow her party to take more decisive action in the future, potentially even moving into a leading role in regional security. In early January, Takaichi dissolved the parliament's lower house, forcing a snap election. Although a gamble which could have potentially cost her position as Prime Minister, Takaichi and the Liberal Democratic Party, or LDP, won a supermajority in the lower house, even crossing the threshold to propose constitutional change. Her victory is the LDP's largest ever victory in the lower house in post-war Japanese history, far surpassing that of former Prime Ministers Junichiro Koizumi and Shinzo Abe. RTI Symposium was attended by scholars and expert panelists, including Yaita, and moderated by RTI President Jiang Ruichang. Speaking at the symposium, Yaita says Japan is likely to move towards a firmer military presence. Under the current Japanese constitution, Japan cannot use force to settle international disputes and similarly cannot possess land, sea or air warfare capabilities. Because of this, he says Japan has had limited political power, even being likened to a, quote, single-lung nation, end quote, unable to participate in vigorous activities. However, with the new supermajority, Yaita believes that Takaichi will be able to make bolder moves as someone who prioritizes security, even potentially becoming a regional leader in security. While he says the current situation is a, quote, long way from constitutional amendment, end quote, the party can still effectuate change through peripheral laws and pushing expanded constitutional interpretation. Yaita says Japan's reappearance on the international political stage as a political and military power is likely to become even more of a reality in the future. As for the likelihood of official Taiwan-Japan relations, both Yaita and other speakers believe the possibility is unlikely. Takaichi's pragmatism is unlikely to allow her to endanger the numerous Japanese businesses and Japanese expats in China by angering an irrational regime. However, Japan's continued moral and substantive support of Taiwan is also unlikely to change. Taipei Mayor Chang Wan-an commended the Taipei City Police and Fire Departments and Metro for their prompt response to a series of random arson attacks over the weekend. The suspect was apprehended in under 3 hours, which Chang said demonstrates clear results of the city's recent emergency response drills and improved personnel capabilities. Taipei police and firefighters received a report just before noon on Sunday, February 8th, of a fire in a men's restroom at the city's Da'an Forest Park MRT station. On the same day, a similar report was filed 2 hours later, this time at Taipei's Shandao station, where staff had extinguished the fire. In both cases, an unknown suspect entered and set fire to debris in the men's restroom in a suspected arson attempt. The suspect was promptly arrested at 2:30 the same afternoon and taken in for police questioning. Speaking on the emergency services response Monday, Mayor Chang commended the agencies and personnel for their prompt response and arrest. He said this demonstrates the effectiveness of the emergency drills the city has conducted following the shocking metro attack on December 19th last year. Chang said,
Our joint defense mechanism was activated immediately, with the suspect identified and arrested within 3 hours. These are the concrete results of our 3 recent enhanced emergency response drills and a reflection of our improved overall emergency response.
Taiwan's flu season is gradually intensifying and is expected to peak during the Lunar New Year holiday, whilst neighbouring Japan and South Korea are already experiencing relatively high flu activity. China Medical University Hospital Infection Control Center Deputy Director Hwang Kao-pin on Saturday urged travellers to Japan and South Korea to get flu shots beforehand and pack oral antiviral drugs for immediate use if symptoms appear. Japan's Ministry of Health, Labour and Welfare reported that nationwide weekly flu consultations nearly doubled from the prior week as of February 1st, marking 4 straight weeks of increases and hitting alert levels twice this season, the first time in a decade. South Korea's cases are also rising, dominated by influenza type B, which tends to be less aggressive in healthy adults. Hwang noted that this year's flu pattern is atypical as major outbreaks normally begin by mid-January. He warned of heightened risks from holiday gatherings coupled with returning overseas travellers, advising vigilance through the festival. If travellers experience symptoms, Hwang recommended some self-pay options such as Tamiflu or single-dose drugs, as well as medication for respiratory infection symptoms. He further warned of the inconvenience of seeing a doctor abroad, especially in Japan, where major hospitals will not see you unless symptoms are severe. Bus conductors were very popular in Taiwan from the 1950s to the 1970s. Recently, a company has pioneered the return of conductors, calling them, quote, safety angels, end quote.
Bus conductors, once commonplace in the 1950s to the 1970s, were responsible for announcing stops on the bus and assisting passengers with mobility issues when boarding and alighting. One bus operator is now bringing them back, along with old-school pull ropes, in retro-style buses that are now running through the streets of Taipei. Wearing blue uniforms and hats, bus conductors draw attention to the steps and help riders board carefully, all while wearing friendly smiles. Conductor Lin Yaling says she had never met an original bus conductor, though she's pulled the stop bell before. She emphasizes that driving a bus is very hard and that she hopes safety angels can alleviate passenger concerns, freeing up drivers to focus on road safety. If passengers are unsure of directions, they can ask a conductor. With someone to help passengers with mobility issues, the bus feels warmer and more welcoming. One rider says the conductors bring back childhood memories and that they're a great solution for Taiwan's aging society. Currently, buses with conductors run once in the morning and once in the afternoon. After a 40-year hiatus, passengers can once again experience old traditions for a more nostalgic journey. Regardless of where they are going, on a bus with conductors, the next stop is always safe. Michelle Chang for RTI News.
Thanks for joining me for the news. I'm Eloise Phillips. Stay tuned for another 50 minutes of English language features brought to you by Radio Taiwan International.